This is one of Richard Dennis's favorite books. Now, if you're unaware of who Richard Dennis is, he was one of the founders of the Turtle Traders experiment. This was an experiment around seeing if you could teach anyone to trade. It was probably one of the most successful experiments around teaching people to trade. For example, you had Jerry Parker, which is now, I believe a multi-millionaire trader. He was originally one of the turtles from the Turtle Traders experiment. Now, Richard Dennis's favorite book wasn't a strategy book, it wasn't a finance book, yet this single book full of interviews held more value than most. Here are 5 lessons from the New Market Wizards book that you need to know. Now, for some context, the New Market Wizards is a collection of interviews with top traders conducted by Jack Schwager. These weren't just any traders, they were the ones who had consistently beat the market over decades. This book dives deep into their mindset, struggles, and lessons.
Led to their success regardless of their strategy.
Yeah, well, mindset, the mindset of a trader, there is a lot of commonality. I mean, the personalities, no,
Yeah.
you have people who are like drill sergeants, and you've got people who are kind of quiet, shy. You're very soft-spoken. And you got people who are really nice. You got people who are rude. I mean, you've really got a kind of and you've got left wing, you've got right wing. You got personalities. It's just like if you took a random sample of people, you would get, and education. You had PhDs or near double PhDs in math and physics, and you've got people who didn't finish who finished high school and not with very good grades.
Right.
So you've really got all that's different, but the mindset that I think there's a commonality of kind of an intensity of focus on the trade of trading, as a trade, as an endeavor, the ability to lock out the emotional side, to treat it as a task without letting your human emotions get in the way. There's one exception I can talk about, but essentially, as Bill Eckhart, who is Richard Dennis's partner and his CTA in his own right, as he pointed out, he made the very nice point that people are so poorly attuned to trading in terms of the way we've evolved our natural instincts that people will do worse than random. And so people are not confused. He's let it, with the cliche about monkeys throwing darts at the Wall Street page and doing this as well as professional traders. Eckhart's point is, no, the monkeys will do better because people's instincts will actually lead them to do worse than random. That worse than random is.
Now, number 1 is risk management above all. The most consistent theme across all interviews in the book is you can't escape losses, but you can control their size. As one trader noted, if you don't know when you're getting out before you get in, don't get in. Now, I've included just parts of the book with this particular thread that I wrote, just because then it would give some extra context, and you can also see what the actual trader said in the interview in the book. As you can see here, he says losses are always predetermined, so you can measure any risk. And while this is an incredibly simple lesson, I think most newer traders, even within the first couple of months, will understand this sort of theme. It does take a while to really set in. After like 5 years of trading for me personally, even now, the most common thing I have to tell myself is, like risk management above everything else. It doesn't matter how excited I get about a new strategy or a new edge that potentially, I want to trade. The risk management part is always the most important. At the end of the day, the key to trading, in my opinion, is really survival. If you can survive a long enough time horizon, you just improve the odds of you most likely becoming profitable and making actually a serious amount of money. Now, obviously there's many other factors that go into that, but I would say a key one there is if you don't have any capital to bet, then you're going to be out of the game. Now, number 2 is having an edge that is non-negotiable. This is the hard truth many miss. Perfect discipline and risk management means absolutely nothing without an edge. Often, if you can't define your edge, you really don't have one. And without one, you're just slowly bleeding capital on random trades. Within the book, you can see you can't win without an edge, even with the world's greatest discipline and money management skills. If you could, then it would be possible to win at roulette over the long run using perfect discipline and risk control. And primarily in trading, if I had to think over the kind of steps, the first step that you want to be spending a lot of time on is actually finding your edge, or thinking about what particular strategies you're going to employ. Now, they don't actually necessarily have to be crazy high return edges. You can even do risk premium sort of stuff, and overall that can still work really well as a collection of strategies, but you do need to have some sort of edge at the beginning. You really can't be trading purely off, gut feelings and things like that. If you do want to go to the discretionary route, I know many traders that are very successful with that route, but you're going to need years of trading experience, and that builds up over time. So some of the best systematic traders I know have actually built in sort of like a hybrid system because they've been trading as well for 5 years plus, and then they also now have some discretionary experience that they can add into their systems. Now, while other people like me, I'm personally not very good with discretion still, so I pretty much, at least in futures, trade fully algorithmically. But there's caveats there. You can introduce discretion over time. Just when you're starting out, I'd say try and focus on just nailing down your edge, and then you can add everything in from there. Now, number 3 is simplicity wins. A common thread among these market wizards is complex strategies often fail under pressure. The best traders focused on clear entry and exit rules, simple position sizing, and consistent execution. Complexity often just masks overfitting. Now, as you can see from the book, one of my favorite kind of excerpts he says is, he did get more data, and amazingly, the persistency of trends seemed to hold up. I quickly became convinced that there was definitely something non-random about the behavior of municipal bond funds. Now, the keyword really there, at least for me, is you just need to get more data. For the most part, if you have an idea and you want to see if it actually is something that could work, you need to have some sort of data behind that particular edge or behind that strategy. And often as well with that, if you try and overcomplicate things and you add, 10, 20 plus parameters over your historical data, you're most likely going to lead to overfitting. Now, if you're unsure what overfitting is, overfitting occurs when you fit something too closely to historical data or to noise. Instead of it working on general data, so like out of sample data, so that's data you haven't trained anything on, you've created so many parameters or you've specialized and optimized the parameter value where it shows to work over that historical data, because obviously you can keep on running optimizations until something works, but it actually won't work when you deploy it live. And that's why often, simplicity often wins, because that simplicity allows it to apply to general data, which applies to actual live markets. Then 4 is adapting and flexibility. The conversations emphasize that no edge lasts forever. Markets evolve and strategies decay. The key is adaptation and consistent research while maintaining your core principles. I think many times people like to advertise on YouTube that, this one strategy will make you 100K, 200K a year, forever basically. But that's really never the case. Most strategies do decay. Now, sometimes there are strategies that have economical principles or some underlying principle, which means it will consistently work until that changes. So that means there can be strategies that can work over many years, like trend following, for example, right? That we don't assume trend following is going to stop working for a long time, at least because of all the historical data around it, also around the principles around it. However, there are other strategies that you can employ that would be very short term. So think of something like 2020. If you were trading 2020, it was a very volatile, epic market to trade. And there were many edges that appeared there that worked through 2020, but never worked really again after 2022, give or take. So those are sort of things where you need to be very ready and aware of adaptation. And that's why personally, even though I have strategies running, I'm constantly doing new research. I'm testing out new ideas. I'm talking to other traders, seeing what their ideas are, brainstorming by myself, watching tons of podcasts, things like that, because I know at some point I'm going to have to keep on adding new strategies to the portfolio. And then lastly, 5 is conviction. Once you have a proven approach, you need to stick to it. A lot of traders fail, not because their system is bad, but because they abandoned it way too soon. And, I think over time, the key thing with trading, you kind of go through stages, right? A lot of the early trading journey is about finding an edge and sort of working a bit on your discipline as well. But then later on into the journey, at least for me personally, has been around being able to handle drawdowns. And that's like a lot of a lot of trading. Because once you found your edges or your particular strategies that you're employing, now the time is like you have to be patient and actually keep on executing or like keep on managing those strategies in a portfolio over a long period of time. Many people, like when you do a back test over 2 years, you're like, oh wow, that looks amazing performance. Look at it, it did this X% return over 2 years, but you don't factor in that you're going to have to be, actually waiting 2 years, right? Like you're going to have to be managing that strategy over 2 years. You're going to have to handle that drawdown that it went through. You'll probably even have to handle a bigger drawdown because your biggest drawdown is normally always ahead of you. So like I've had strategies where I've had to handle, a month-long drawdown, 2-month drawdown. Now that has been helped because I run multiple strategies. So necessarily the month wasn't, down month. But some strategies have just like been in drawdown for quite a while. And another trader I talk to quite a lot, he's had drawdowns of 6 months and more. And that is something that is normal when you are managing and deploying strategies. So if you don't have the conviction, which you have built through testing, your trading strategies thoroughly, then it can be very difficult to stick to these. And I think it's a constant battle. It's a thing where every day you have to wake up and kind of have, that conviction to be able to stick with your strategy, deal with the drawdown, etc. Now, obviously, not every day is as difficult. If it's performing amazingly, then you don't really need to do much to have conviction in your strategy. But then there will be those days where, you hit a 5-10% drawdown, etc. Now, if you find this type of content valuable and want more every week, feel free to follow me on Twitter at GhostHawkTrades, or feel free to subscribe. Have a great day.